Okay, we're recording. First of all, happy October 28th. Halloween is this weekend. November 1st is right around the corner. And before we know it, Thanksgiving is going to be here, then Christmas, then it's going to be the new year. So put on your fancy pants because things are going to start happening in this business. And if you are just getting started with us, or you've been with us for a while, you may or may not know that starting in January, we start to see a huge shift in our business. It's a busy time for network marketing, January through May. So we start revving things up in January, and then February, everything starts to hit. And I've watched people double and triple their incomes and double, triple their ranks during those months. So everything we do now to prepare for that is key. It's really the key. So tonight, I really want to chat with everybody about a couple things. The first one is why people get stuck. How many of you guys feel stuck or have felt stuck? Oh my gosh. You guys, I'm about to sell all my dogs. I swear to you, they have not barked all day. I think it's the time of my Zune, and that's when like kids come in my house. How many of you guys have felt stuck? Because we're going to talk tonight about why people get stuck. And then we're also going to talk about what holds you back. And I think that pretty much everybody on here can use this Zoom tonight. They need to know why people get stuck, and also why people get held back, why we hold ourselves back. Here's the thing is every single person on this Zoom is capable. You're all capable of living the best life ever, of living a life with meaning and purpose, of having amazing things, of making your Lavelle business grow, of getting to whatever rank, is on your dream board. Every single person on here is capable. But I think before you guys can realize your full potential for the greatness that you all are, you guys have to understand why you are and how you got to be where you are. I think it's super important to figure out what makes every single person on here the way that they are. Here's the thing is, I think, I don't know how I want to put this. Okay. We all come into this world, and we all were born the same way, right? Loaded with like untapped potential and talents and abilities and extraordinary things in our life. And the thing is that along the way, I think that we just get we let other people influence us, right? And it even starts with our parents and the word no. um I mean, have you guys ever wondered how or why you became the person that you are today? With each one of us are special, right? We all have a different combination of thoughts and feelings and ideas and abilities and fears and hopes and ambitions and dreams, like every person on here. But what makes us like that? It was something I read a couple days ago that said, have you ever seen um a baby that was um like not fearless? Have you ever seen a baby negative? A negative baby? No. There's no negative babies, right? I mean, we have no idea. We're born into this world and we have all this amazing potential. And then as we age, people start to beat us down, life starts to beat us down. We start putting ourselves in a box. Like, that box tells us that, well, if you don't have a college education, there's no way you're ever going to make good money. Or if you know, if you don't have this certain attribute about you, there's no way that you're going to be in this spot. And it really truly is all because as we age, we're told we can't do things. And so we believe those things. And it always brings me back to somebody shared with me when I first started in network marketing, imagine when you learned how to ride a bike. You got on the bike, you didn't know how to ride the bike right away. You fell, you scraped your knees, you got back up, you tried again. First, you had to have training wheels, then you took those off and you tried to do it by yourself. And it didn't go right away, right? Like you didn't just jump on a bike and know how to ride it. You had to learn. And you didn't think, I'm never going to learn how to ride this bike. You just kept getting up on the bike until you learned how to ride it. Like you knew that you were going to learn how to ride that bike because all your friends rode a bike. And if they could all do it, you could too, right? Like who doesn't know how to ride a bike? I mean, there are people that don't know how to ride a bike. But what I'm trying to say is that is a good analogy because we never stopped trying, right? We just kept getting back up on the bike until we could do it without our training wheels. And then we were running around popping wheelies and going no-handed, right? Over speed bumps. Like we just did it until we got it right. And for some reason, as we age, if we don't get something right away, we quit. We automatically think we're not good at it. It's never going to happen for us. Some of you came into Lavelle and you're like, man, I've been here 2 years and I'm not 12K yet. It's not going to happen for me, or whatever, the lies that you're telling yourself. But the sad but true, but the sad but true thing is that a lot of our emotions and a lot of the reasons we are the way we are today is simply because of what has been instilled in us by other people our whole lives. So imagine if you truly wanted to do something and you made the decision and you just kept getting back up on the bike until you learned how to ride it, right? Can you imagine if as an adult, if none of us knew how to ride bikes and they said, here, go find out how to ride a bike, how many of us would never learn? Because after falling off of it 4 times, we go like, well, I just can't do this. This isn't for me. The only difference between us in that mindset and us where we are now is we didn't have, years of life beating down on us with people telling us we can't do something. So it really truly is mindset. It's the magic of changing your thinking. So Thomas Edison said there are 3 types of people, and they're basically the 3 types are those who think, and then there are those who think they think, and then there are those who would rather die than think. It's so true. The great majority of people go through life without giving much thought to who they are and how they got to where they are today. And I think as a result of that life just happened to them. Life just happened to a lot of us, like a series of random events with
Yep.
no explanations and few connections between them. And like they take the first job that's offered to them, right? How many of you guys feel like you started a job or you're in a field where you don't even know how you got there, right? Like all of a sudden you woke up one day and now you're this age and yep, I work this job, right? Did you dream about doing that? Did you want to do that? No, you just somehow got into it, and the next thing you know, you wake up, you're 36 years old, still waiting tables and bartending. I mean, the thing is that we've gone through our whole lives totally programmed thinking that we're not capable of things, and we've got to change that thinking. We have to change that thinking. So Thomas Edison said there's 3 types of people. Which one are you? Are you a person that thinks? Are you one that thinks they think, or are you one that would rather die than think? Because most people would rather die than think. They want everything dictated for them, right? They want everything handed to them. I mean, the fact is that our world is largely created by the thoughts that we think, and then those things end up being our reality. So if you improve your thinking, you're going to improve your actions and your results, right? And when you change your thinking, you change your life. It's proven. Think about this, you guys. Everything you thought up until now about yourself is true, correct? It's all true. Because that's what you tell yourself. That's what others have told you. That's what you've chosen to believe. So what if Wouldn't it be just as easy for everybody on here to decide to change their thinking? And in turn, isn't that going to change your life? Like, I think everybody needs to understand how huge this is. Okay, so anyways, I grabbed this book tonight, and they're called mental laws. Okay, there's a series of mental laws and principles that have been discovered and rediscovered throughout history. And these laws largely explain who you are and everything that happens to you. And basically, I want to talk about those laws. And the first one is the law of cause and effect. And this law is often referred to as the iron law of the universe. It was first explained by Aristotle in 350 BC at his academy outside of Athens, and was called the Aristotelian principle of casualty. So you don't even know how to read to be a millionaire, y'all. Promise. At a time when everyone believed that their lives as mortals were determined by the gods playing on Mount Olympus and were nothing but a series of random events. And Aristotle, instead, he proclaimed that we live in a universe governed by order. He said that everything happens for a reason. And just because we don't know that reason, that doesn't mean a reason does not exist. So the law of cause and effect says that for every effect or result in your life, there's a cause or causes. And nothing happens by chance. And even the most random events can be traced back to specific causes or factors. So these laws, they also say that if there is an effect that you desire, such as health, happiness, prosperity, success, 200K, you can achieve that effect by creating the causes that bring them about. The easiest way to succeed greatly is to find someone else who has already achieved what you want to achieve and then do the same things.
Yeah.
This person did over and over and over until you get that same result. Just kind of like getting up on that bike, right? Like, same thing. So I had to read this to you because it's huge. So here's an exercise I want you guys to think about doing after this Zoom. Write down the names of 3 people you guys admire, whether for the people they are for something. Write down the names of people you admire, whether for the people they are or for something they have accomplished. What's the quality you admire most about each of them? And then how can you develop those qualities in yourself? Because there's so many of you guys on here that, I wish that I could do, I wish I could be so outgoing and get on and do live videos and TikToks like Amanda. I wish I was, Lisa, and I, whatever. I don't know what you would ever want or wish to be me for, but let's just say, long story short, though, what is that thing you admire, and why can't you develop those same qualities? Why? What are the qualities you need to go 200K? What are the qualities you need to go 12K? We know if you look at other 12Ks, what are the qualities they have? Why can't you have those same qualities? Who told you that you couldn't? Here's the first rule of the law of cause and effect. If you do what successful, happy people do over and over and over, there is nothing that can stop you from eventually getting to the same results that they do. The second rule is this: if you don't do what successful, happy people do, nothing can help you. The world's full of people who are doing what unhappy, unsuccessful, frustrated people do. And then they are all amazed that they get the same results. But this is not a matter of accident or random chance or bad luck. It's simply a matter of law. If you eat healthy foods, exercise regularly, take good care of your body, you're going to be fit and trim, right? You're going to have high levels of energy. And if you don't, you won't. Everyone understands and agrees with this. It's obvious, and it's simply a matter of cause and effect, right? If we know this, then why is every single person on this Zoom making their life so hard? We really are. It cracks me up. I crack myself up thinking about this right now. I'm thinking about all the things in my life that I've told myself I can't do or I'm not capable of. And it's really just change of habits and making the decision to do what the people that are doing it, do what they're doing. The most important application of the law of cause and effect is this: thoughts are causes and conditions are effects. Your thought, it's creative. You determine what happens to you by the thoughts you think, and especially those thoughts that are charged with emotion and positive or negative. You decide that. Your thoughts are like a computer, and they lead you pretty much to wherever you need to go. Here's a good point. Once you guys have initiated the cause, the effects take place by itself. Once you have pushed the rock down the hill, it rolls by itself by the law of gravity. Once you guys have planted a positive and negative seed in your mind, it either flowers or weeds will grow. You can't control the cause, but the effect happens automatically, whether you want it to or not. Think about success. I want you to guys think about this business, think about success. In a 22-year-old study at the University of Pennsylvania, 350,000 people were interviewed. Okay. And they were interviewed to basically find out what they thought about most of the time. Okay. What did those 350,000 people think about most of the time? Well, it turned out that the top 10%, the happiest and the most successful of this group, thought about two things most of the time: what they wanted and how to get it. They thought about their goals and the actions they could take to achieve those goals. That's pretty interesting. They thought about what they wanted and how they were going to get it. And then they obviously applied it. So another thing I want you guys to do tonight after you get off this Zoom is decide something that you guys really want. And now imagine that you already have it and describe what it's like to have it. What would that look like if that goal happened for you? What would your life look like? How would you feel? How would your life be different? Hold on, let me mute. Sorry. So anyways, I mean, the more that successful people thought about what they wanted and how to get it, the more ideas and insights came to them. And these ideas motivated them to even take more actions, which moved them faster and faster towards their goals. And when they achieved their goals, they felt happier and they were more motivated and they were eager to set even bigger and more challenging goals. You guys, by thinking most of the time about what they wanted and how to get it, they put their lives into basically an upward spiral of success and achievement. If they did that, why can't you? Every single person on here has got to stop telling themselves that they have limitations. You decided that. Nobody decided that for you. You decided that. So here's a principle, the foundation principle. The foundation principle of all religious philosophy, metaphysics, psychology, and success is this: you become what you think about most of the time. When you think clear, definite thoughts about what you want, backed by the positive emotions of enthusiasm, you direct and channel your energies and your activities towards your goals. And if your mind is a jumble of thoughts, and it is for most people, right? I know it is for me. You will think about what you want on some occasions and what you don't want on others. You're going to think about what makes you happy and about what makes you unhappy. You're going to think about going to work and coming home. And you're going to think about going to bed and getting up. And you're going to think about fun and short-term excitement and watching television and listening to music and socializing, because you have no clear specific goals. Your life simply goes around in circles, sometimes for years. And eventually you become what you think about most of the time. Doesn't this make so much sense? Like, no wonder people are on hamster wheels, because it's all we think about. We're just doing what we're told. So here's the second law. Okay, so the first law was the law of thought, the law that what you think about, you bring about, right? The law of cause and effect. The second law is the law of belief. The law of belief says that whatever you believe with emotion becomes your reality. Your beliefs form a stream of prejudices through which you see your world. And in other words, you do not see the world the way it is, but the way you are. Belief creates the actual fact. You always think and act based on your basic beliefs, either positive or negative. And if you have positive, constructive beliefs, you're going to make good decisions. You're going to take the right actions. You're going to get good goals. And then that you're going to have good results. And if you have negative, fearful, and angry beliefs, you will take the wrong actions or no action at all and get negative results. This is a simple, it's a simple law. It's the law of belief. You either believe that you can and you will, or you believe that you can and you won't. All beliefs are learned. So here's another exercise. Get a notebook and keep it with you throughout the day. I've shared this with many of you many times, so this is going to sound super familiar. And this is probably the book I got it from. Get a notebook or rubber band around your wrist or something. And when faced with the decision, do you highlight the positive or consider the negatives first? Track these thought patterns and make a conscious effort to view things optimistically. Then track how you feel overall about your day. Make sure you write this down. Because changing your thought process and your daily habits, that's something you have to practice every day. You have to catch yourself thinking about negativity. You have to catch yourself every time your mind says, maybe I'm never going to get there. I suck at this business. I can't sign a customer. I can't sign a promoter. Okay, so if these laws are true, which they are, and you're always saying, I can't, then you never will. All beliefs are learned. Fortunately, all beliefs are learned, and everything that you are convinced of today has been taught to you somehow and by someone. And if you have positive, life-affirming beliefs, you guys will have a happy, healthy life.
Okay,
you guys,
sit down, though. Sit down. Not on my stuff right here.
hold on. I don't know why people keep getting unmuted. You guys will be popular and get along well with others. It'll happen. And if you have a negative, destructive beliefs, then guess what? And doubtful and fear and suspicious and negative and constant conflict with others, what do you think life is going to be like? The starting point of personal transformation is to question your self-limiting beliefs and beliefs you have that suggest that you're limited in talent and ability and personality, opportunity. They're usually just not true. You just believe them. They're limitations that you have imposed upon yourself by believing in them. And the minute you stop believing in them, then you're going to see a whole different way of life. Your whole life will open up. It'll be like a sunrise. Like crazy. What are some things that you guys want to do, but think you can't do? Why can't you do them? Who told you you can't do them? Who believes you can? Have you ever tried to do these things, or are you just assuming that you can't? Okay, so the next law is the law of expectations. The law of expectations has been discussed frequently over the years, and it's used to explain many of the things that happen in society, including virtually every decision made on the stock market and the economy. It says, whatever you expect with confidence becomes your own self-fulfilling prophecy. If you expect happy and successful, you will probably be happy and successful. And if you expect to be popular and liked by others, well, then you're probably going to be popular and liked by others. And if you expect to have a wonderful life, contribute to society, and be respected by your family, friends, and colleagues, then guess what? You probably will. Perhaps the best attitude that you guys can develop is one of the positive expectancy, in which you go through life confidently expecting that everything will work out for the best, and you will seldom be disappointed. I promise you. You guys, I'm living proof of this. how I thought before I got into this industry, before I started self-development, before I read a million books, I was a negative Nelly and everything negative came to me. The only difference between me now and then and why my life is so different is I changed my thought process. I totally changed the way I thought in order to bring good things. Most unhappy people have an attitude of negative expectancy and they expect to be disappointed. How many of you go, well, I expected that. I knew that was going to happen. I'm never lucky. God, I never win anything. God, I'm never getting to 12K. People expect to be unpopular and disliked, and their expectations come true. You can decide, though. That's the good news, is that you can manufacture your own expectations, either positive or negative, and the choice is yours. The only thing you can't control in this world is the only thing you can control in this world is the way you think. And if you take control of your thinking, you take complete control of your emotions and your actions and your destiny. Your expectations are largely formed by your beliefs, you guys. And if you believe yourself to be a good person, you will expect to be treated in a positive way. And people will consciously and unconsciously respond to your expectations, whether they know them or not. Okay, so the next one's the law of attraction. You guys hear me talk about this one all the time. I always talk about the law of attraction. So the law of attraction has been discussed for 5,000 years. If you guys have not read The Secret, read it. Popular literature suggests that based on this law, you can have everything you want in life if you visualize and think happy thoughts. Some people think that by the law of attraction, whatever you want will inevitably be drawn to you in your life. I've witnessed this happen in my own life. This explanation is partially true. It is true that your mind is a living magnet. You inevitably attract to your life the people and the resources and the experiences. Those things you will attract is by what you're putting out. Emotions, the key to understanding this law. Your emotions, positive or negative, are like an electrical charge that influences your magnetism and attracts you to whatever you're putting out. If you feel like, you guys really have to start looking in the mirror. And if you feel like, man, every time I sign a new promoter, they're just so negative. And sometimes we got to look in the mirror. We attract what we are, guys. If you have a team full of just constant drama, you might want to look in the mirror. Or if you're not signing anyone, why? Because no one wants to join you because you're being negative. The law of attraction in action. What does that look like? What this law means for you is that when you are absolutely clear about something you want, you set up a force field of energy that attracts it to you, and it attracts you to it. The essential component for this law to work is belief and faith. The slightest bit of doubt or negativity regarding what you want will sabotage the process of attracting it into your life. So you guys, even though you may think, but I am positive, I'm doing my affirmations every day, I'm writing in my journal, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. How many times in your head do you catch yourself saying, but I'm never going to get there? Why can't I sign anyone? Why did this person quit? Why is my life like this? It doesn't matter how much you write something down on paper, until you can change those thoughts in your head. You have to trust. So I want you guys to imagine you're going to buy a new car. Decide what car you guys want to have. What color is it? And for the next few days, observe how often you see that car. You will notice it everywhere. Promise you will. It's just like when you're pregnant, right? All of a sudden you look around and everywhere you go, everybody's pregnant. Oh, I just bought a red car. Like, I saw nobody with a BMW X7, and now that I bought it, it's at every stoplight. Why? Because now I notice it. I'm noticing it. They were always there, but now I'm noticing it. So the next law is the law of sympathetic resonance. This is also a sub-law, the law of sympathetic resonance. By this law, if you strike a string on a piano on one side of the room and then walk across to the piano on the other side of the room, the same string will vibrate as the one you struck on the first piano. In the same way, you guys will often meet a person with whom you have a sympathetic resonance from their first moment, with that in that first moment. You feel the connection. You probably experienced this in your own life. There is a book. It's so good, you guys. It's called The Prophet. So good. It talks about this. But anyways, many people are attracted to the person who becomes their husband or wife because of sympathetic resonance. Their eyes meet across a crowded room, and like magnets, they are drawn towards each other. This experience explains why married couples can almost always remember the first moment of meeting. You guys, this isn't just with your partner. Haven't you ever been at the grocery store, you look over and something in you says, man, this person needs drive? People are brought into your life. You have to pay attention. So the next law is the law of vibration, which is another sub law of the law of attraction. And that one says that the entire universe is energy in motion, which every substance vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts are vibrating at a level that is so fine that your thought waves can travel through any substance and over long distances instantaneously. Throughout your life, you will have experiences like this. You are talking about a friend who lives in another side of the country, someone you have not seen in years, and in the midst of your conversation, the phone will ring, and that will be your friend on the other end of the line. Tell me in the chat, have you all experienced this before? Where you're thinking of someone and you run into them in the grocery store and you just had a dream about them the night before? Or somebody reaches out to you that you haven't talked to in a long time. It's happened to every person on here. It's showing us all the time that what I'm reading to you guys is true. It gives you glimpses all the time. You just have to believe. There's another example of the law of attraction based on the laws of sympathetic resonance and vibration, and it's the law of repulsion. It's just what it sounds like, the law of repulsion. The opposite of the law of attraction is the law of repulsion. When you think negative, worried thoughts about money and about how little you have and how much everything costs, you create a negative force field of energy that drives money and opportunities out of your life. This is the primary reason why many people remain poor all their lives. And perhaps the worst thing you guys can do if you want to be financially successful is to criticize other people who are doing well, people who are earning more than you. This behavior is usually based on envy and resentment, and they're two of the worst negative emotions you can have. It drives all hope of success out of your life. But when you admire and look up to successful people, you create that force field of energy that draws successful people to you guys, which creates opportunities for you to be successful as well. The next law is the law of correspondence. I love this law. My favorite law of all time is the law of correspondence. And this is what this law says. Your outer world is a mirror image reflection of your inner world. You create the mental equivalent of what you want to see, experience, or enjoy on the inside, and then it will materialize like a reflection in your life. This is why it says in the Bible, as within, so without. Napoleon Hill, if you guys don't know who that is, he wrote so many good network marketing books, just books, not even network marketing, just go read them. But anyways, Napoleon Hill wrote that in order to become financially independent, you must develop a prosperity consciousness. Once you have the prosperity consciousness, you will begin to see all kinds of opportunities around you to earn more money. You will meet new people. You'll read relevant books or articles. You'll have doors open for you and come up with great ideas that move you towards the prosperity you desire. Unfortunately, most people have a poverty consciousness. They worry about money all the time. They worry about how much everything costs. And I think it costs too much. And they're guarded with their money and suspicions of the intentions of other people, often because of childhood conditioning. Their attitude is, I can't afford it. How many of you guys say that on a daily basis? I can't afford it. Do you guys know you're just bringing into your life more situations that you can't afford? By the law of correspondence, Your outer world of relationships will mirror imaging reflection of how you feel about yourself inside. The more you guys like and respect yourself, the more you guys will like and respect others. The more you like and respect others, the more they will like you back, and better your relationships will be in all areas of your life. Let me tell you what, this is a hard pill to swallow, but I was just talking about this with last night I was with Chastity, and I said, you know what's crazy is sometimes I know exactly why people aren't successful, but it's hard to tell them. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I get with them and they are doing the right things. They show up on the Zooms. They show up every day. They're in people's inboxes. They're doing the work. They're not successful because their mind sucks. And because they don't have an excited personality, and they're not drawing people to them because they're so stinking negative. Like, it's the only thing. Because you can't tell me that you have to look a certain way, be a certain age, be a certain gender, have a certain background to be successful at Lavelle. You can't tell me that, because I'm not gorgeous. I'm not skinny. I was a waitress and a bartender who barely graduated from high school. And I can give you 100 more stories way different than mine. There's people 500 pounds that are 200Ks, and there's people that are 75 pounds that are 200Ks. There's Black people, white people, Chinese people. It doesn't matter. There's people that have come from no background at all to being in jail to they were lawyers. So if we know that it doesn't matter where you came from, then it has to be only one thing. It can only be one thing. If you are doing all of the right things, which I'm just going to be honest with everybody on here, nobody on here is doing all the things. I'm not even doing all the things. Are you on every social media platform? Are you spending 8 hours a day working your business? Nobody's doing all the things. Okay. None of us, not me, not you, not anyone. Okay. But if you're doing, if you really truly are doing income producing activities, you're putting in an hour a day, you spend your time not messing around, and you truly are building connections and relationships, why aren't you citing people? Because you're attracting people that can't afford it. Because you're attracting people that are negative, that don't want to get healthy. Because you're attracting other people just like you. Are you using the products daily, consistently? Are those products changing your life in some way, shape, or form? Are you doing are you up? I love what Chaz says. You have to prospect up. You have to recruit up. Are you recruiting and making friends with people that scare you, that challenge you? You're intimidated by their success. You're intimidated by their health, by the fact that they run 5 miles a day. That's what I did. I started surrounding myself with people that intimidated me. And then the right people were starting to be put in my path that wanted to be in this business, that did see the value, that did want to pay $400 for a kit or $200 for a kit, that did want the products because they wanted to feel better and get healthier. Your outer world of health will be a reflection of your inner world of attitudes towards diet, exercise, personal well-being. If you think of yourself in a fit, thin, healthy way on the inside, you will soon be fit, thin, healthy person on the outside. Your outer world success in your career will be a reflection of your inner preparation and ability to use your knowledge and skill. This will quickly be reflected in your ability to achieve better and faster results, which will move you upward and onward in your career. Because of these laws I just talked about, you guys, you do become what you think about most of the time. That's proven. And because of these laws, when you change your thinking, you change your life, and there is no other way. The world is full of unhappy, frustrated people who are convinced that they can change the outer aspects of their lives while leaving their inner attitudes of mind unchanged. And this is just simply not possible. I promise you, I have been doing this for 12 years. And the only difference between the people that end up succeeding and getting to where they want to go versus the ones that don't, again, it wasn't their gender, their race, their sex, it wasn't their age or their background. You know what it was? It was their thought process. That was the only difference. Where do your thoughts and feelings and beliefs and expectations and attitudes come from? Where do they come from? Self-concept psychology says that each child comes into the world with no self-concept at all. No self-concept at all. This philosopher, David, somebody said that each person begins with no thoughts, no feelings, no beliefs, no opinions. Everything you know to be true about yourself and your world has been taught and learned, both directly and indirectly, from infancy onwards. Of course, each child has a certain type of temperament, which is evident early in life. Each child has latent talents and abilities that can be developed, or that can go underdeveloped as the child ages into adulthood. But in terms of personality attributes, each child is born with unlimited potential. Okay, think about Tiger Woods. How many other Tiger Woods could there have been if they had a dad that took them out every single day from the time they were 2 years old golfing? Like, listen, it was practice. Tiger Woods, if he didn't have that dad, wouldn't be Tiger Woods today. Or would he? We don't know. Probably not. The child comes into the world completely defenseless and unable to provide for him or herself in any way. And from the moment of birth onward, the child needs an unbroken flow of unconditional love for healthy development, like roses that need rain. The child's worldview, safe and unsafe, is largely shaped by the way the child is treated in the first 3 to 5 years of their life. When parents give the child continuous flow of love, approval, touch, warmth, and security, the child develops this belief that he or she lives in a safe world. I mean, how many of you guys had that childhood? I didn't. And I mean, my mom was good, but she just had to work and stuff. Like, like I had a lot of people telling me no. So did most of you. Of course, we think that way. A child is born with two fears: the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. All other fears have to be taught to the child through repetition, usually by their parents as they are growing up. Children come into the world with two common characteristics. They are uninhibited and spontaneous. I can't talk. Because they are unafraid of anything. They laugh, cry, wet, or dirty their diapers, throw their arms around, make loud or strange noises, and do whatever they feel like. Because children are spontaneous, they aren't trapped by worries about what others might think of them or feel about their actions or decisions. They do or say whatever they want or think or feel in the moment without any concern of whether it's something they should or shouldn't be doing based on what others believe. They do what is right for them. This is your natural birthright, you guys, to be both spontaneous and uninhibited when it comes to you and your dreams. When you are at your very best with people you like and trust around you, you're not going to find better people than our team, this Lavelle team, your leaders, your downline, people that support you. And then maybe after a glass or two of wine and a couple drinks, you'll be uninhibited and you can go back to those fearless times of, when you all of a sudden you have like that fearless feel like you did when you were a kid. You can revert back to being completely spontaneous and expressing yourself naturally and openly without being overly concerned about what other people think or feel or how they're going to react. So there's two major negative habit patterns. Because of mistakes that parents make, especially destructive criticism and physical punishment, children begin to learn negative habit patterns early in life, which affects everything in your life. So basically, why I'm reading this to you and telling you guys this today is because everything you think about yourself is a lie. Everything negative that you think you can or can't do, it's lies. It's lies. It's a protection mechanism, you guys, that your brain does. Stop it, dogs. It's okay. So your brain, it's not doing it so that you're not successful or so that you don't have an amazing life. It's doing it to protect you because it learned long ago that you don't want to look stupid in front of other people. You don't want to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. That when you can't get things right the first time, it feels not good. So your brain goes into protection mode. So anytime you think something crazy like I'm gonna be 200K in Lavelle, your brain goes, girlfriend, simmer down. That ain't not happening, okay? We both know that's never gonna happen, okay? That's wishful thinking. Why don't you shoot for something more, I don't know, attainable like 4K? Like, immediately this is what we do to ourselves, right? We decided it. You decided it. There's not one person on here that can't be successful and go all the way to 200K as long as they decide. Fear of failure, negative patterns. Though, I mean, my favorite saying is, imagine what you would do if no one was watching. I think about that saying quite a lot. And I think about what I would have done in my life, how many times I would have tried new things, did things that I really wanted to do. But the only reason I didn't, because I didn't want to look stupid or fail or have somebody say, see, I told you so. I didn't want any of that. Fear of rejection. That's the next one that I think is the biggest one. We are so scared of being rejected. Why are most of you afraid to get in someone's inbox and share Thrive with them? Because you are so scared of the word no. You don't want to be rejected. Being rejected feels horrible. So we try to avoid all things in life that are going to make us feel that rejection. But here's the thing is these people that are going to reject you, most of them is just they're not rejecting you. That's what you have to understand. They're just rejecting what you're offering. They don't want that right now. But they will later. They may later. And you want them to know to come to you when they decide. When I waited tables, you guys, when I walked up to a table every morning, I'd go, do you want regular or decaf coffee? And if they said no, I did not go back in the kitchen and start bawling my eyes out. I didn't take it personal. They just didn't want coffee. It had nothing to do with me. Some people just don't want Lavelle. Some people don't want to get healthy. Some people don't want to feel great. Like they're happy in their own misery. And that's okay. You offered. You can't worry about the word no. You can't worry about that anymore, you guys, because it's holding you back way too much. So I want to talk about one more thing right here. What's holding you guys back? Let's talk about that for the last 10 minutes of this call. All right, I want to read this. Each child comes into this world as a pure potential with the ability to become an extraordinary person, do wonderful things, and enjoy high levels of health, happiness, and prosperity through life. People today can live longer and better than they ever have possible for the human race. And with modern advances in medical and medicine, lifespans are increasing every year. As mentioned in the previous chapter, children are born a complete optimist, fearless, and uninhibited, excited and curious and eager to touch, taste, smell, and feel everything around them. Have you ever seen a negative baby? There are no negative babies, okay? Negativity is a learned, created pattern. So the two main negative emotions that we have to watch out for is fear of failure and fear of rejection when it comes to this business. Fear of failure is something that we basically manifest in our adult lives. People who've been criticized or they just have fear of loss of money or loss of health or loss of position. Because I have people that the reason, I have people the reason they're not succeeding is because they fear success. They're actually afraid to be successful. I'll have people, you guys see what I deal with? You guys must think I'm crazy. When you have 3 dogs barking at everything, it's annoying. See, I'm being negative. So now I'm going to draw more barking. Watch, I will. Anyways, so long story short, what I'm trying to get through to you guys is that there are people literally that stop their success because of the fact that they are scared of success. What would I do with all that money? What if I lose that money once I get it? It's craziness. Loss of security, loss of the love of other people. No matter how much you achieve in life or in your career, some people are just haunted by the fear of having it all taken away and they're having to start over again with nothing. Believe me, I have that fear. The fear of rejection is experienced as a fear of criticism that can become so extreme that the individual becomes hypersensitive to thoughts, words, opinions, and even glances of other people, including strangers. In addition, people feel a fear of disapproval, of not being liked by others when they're eager to impress. Fear of rejection leads to fear of the loss of respect to people whose respect is important to us. And people with this fear are afraid of embarrassment and ridicule, and especially the presence of others. So the fear of rejection is the root cause of the fear of public speaking, rated ahead of the fear of death among life's major fears. Did you know more people are afraid to speak in public than they are to die? They would rather die than speak in public. I was one of those people. It was debilitating. It was ruining my life. And I'm a perfect example of how something for 36 years ruined my entire life because I was so scared to talk in front of a room. Dude, if there was more than 2 people in a room, I would cower down. I am such an introvert. So to see the transformation I've made, that is how I know that what I read to you is true. You can change and do anything you decide and you want. So I want you guys to imagine you guys had no limitations. Imagine that you guys are financially independent and you had all the money that you could ever spend for the rest of your life. I want to know, what would you guys do differently? What would you get into or out of? What would you start doing or stop doing? And I like to ask that question because I think it can be a real eye opener. And there are many situations in your life that you would change immediately if you had no fear of being broke. If you had all the money that you ever wanted or needed, you'd probably make drastic changes in your life. And you know what else you wouldn't do? You would not give a crap what anybody thought of you. You would not care. Trust me, I do not care what other people think of me. As long as my paycheck keeps coming on Tuesday, I will wear underwear on my head if that's going to make me more money. Like, once you get to a place, I promise you, you will suddenly stop caring so much about what all these other people that aren't doing anything with their lives think about you. People design their lives to compensate for their fears. They accept lower level jobs so that they can, basically feel better, not feel pushed. We don't want to be pushed out of our comfort zones. They stay in unhealthy relationships rather than risk being alone or unattached. And they choose friends who are passive and uncritical so that they can be sure of never being criticized, embarrassed, or rejected. Why do you guys think you're not prospecting up? You're not prospecting up because you care about what those people think of you, but you don't care about what somebody that you believe is below you thinks of you, that you think you're better than or the same as. People choose friends who are passive and uncritical so they can be sure of never being criticized, embarrassed, or rejected. That's crazy, but it is so true. So the great question is, what one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? If you were absolutely guaranteed success in anything, large or small, long-term or short-term, what one big, exciting, challenging goal would you guys set for yourself? I think this question helps people basically identify their fears that are holding them back. Because if you were completely guaranteed success in one thing that you attempted, you would probably commit to your heart's desire, right? You'd say, I'll do it. If I told you, here, I know for sure that you are going to get to this place. I have a crystal ball right here. It told me you will definitely get to 200K. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I can tell the future. You wouldn't even think twice about quitting. You wouldn't think this isn't going to work for me. If you knew for sure something could work, you would just keep doing it. But what you're doing is you're letting doubt set in, right? So I want you guys to stop depending on others, because other people don't pay your bills. Other people don't have your goals. Other people don't have your dreams. I want you to think about things that are going to push and drive you out of your comfort zone, and know that whatever your brain is telling you, that mechanism going off in your brain trying to save you from feeling stupid, looking stupid, being uncomfortable, feeling uncomfortable, don't listen to that. That was planted there long ago by teachers and by parents and by friends. Those aren't real. Those are not real. That you choose what's real. Those aren't real. So the question is, what keeps people at the lower levels and from moving forward? What causes people to I don't know, give up on their dreams and their goals? The answer is negative emotions. Because destructive criticism and lack of love and lack of loving yourself and being told you can't do something, all those negative emotions that people experience are fear, doubt, worry, envy, jealousy, resentment, feelings of inadequacy, especially in comparison to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. Fear, doubt, and worry arise when we have to think about anything that makes us feel uncomfortable. So we just try to avoid all of those situations. But I can tell you, the only time you are going to grow in this business and in life is when you have fear, doubt, when you question, when you're about to step into the unknown. You have to become a fully functioning person. Your goal is to become a fully functioning person, but most of us are not there yet. And I think as a result of that, most people look to others to validate their decisions or do it for them. And then I think sometimes, you know, even if we have a different opinion or we want to make a decision on our own, we're too scared to do it. We're scared we might make the wrong choice. There's no wrong choice as long as it's getting back up and getting back on the horse and doing it again. Envy and resentment are negative emotions that you guys are going to keep you from getting where you want to go. Envy is one of the worst of the negative emotions, and it is one of the 7 deadly sins, and it is not a good thing. Envy could be holding a lot of you guys back right now. You're so concerned about what other people are doing or where they're at that you are not concerned about yourself. Admiring something that another person has attained or accomplished in their life, that's not the same as envy, you guys. It's important to want things that other people have because it motivates you to accomplish the same thing. Because of the mental laws of attraction and repulsion, the worst thing you guys can do to yourself is to envy or resent others. When you guys do, you set up a force field of negative energy that drives out and repels success and happiness from your own life. And y'all, you're never going to get anywhere. So, seeing if there's anything else I want to say before I get off. Use your mind properly. You have a wonderful mind, but it's a double-edged sword. You can use it to make you happy, or you can use it to make you angry. Your goal should be to use your intelligence to keep yourself in control and at peace no matter what is happening around you. When people behave poorly, refrain from judging. When people do or say things that seem to be negative and unnecessary, remain calm and detached. Stand back mentally and observe them impartially without becoming upset or involved. The best way to stop judging is to have compassion for other people. It is almost impossible to have compassion towards another person for his or her behavior and judge him negatively at the same time. You can't have compassion for someone and judge them negatively at the same time. Be patient, be empathetic. Okay, so one last thing and then we're going to get off. It's called the pencil test. Here's the example used in Sedona method. Okay, take a pencil in your hand, squeeze it tightly. I'm doing it right now with my pencil. I want to try this right now. Okay. Squeeze it even more tightly. As hard as you can, squeeze that pencil. Imagine holding on tightly to this pencil for an hour, a day, a month, a year. What would happen to your hand and arm? They would become atrophied and even immovable, paralyzed. What would happen if you clung tightly, bitterly to a negative experience for a month? For a year? Part of your personality will be damaged with anger and bitterness. Now extend your arm and open your hand with the palm facing towards the floor while you're squeezing the pencil. Here's the question. What's holding the pencil in your hand? The answer is obvious. You are holding the pencil and squeezing it so hard. The next question is also obvious. How do you get rid of this pencil? How do you get it out of your hand? The answer is simple. You open your hand and you let it fall. You let it go. This is a wonderful illustration of the simplicity of dropping a negative event out of your life permanently. With the pencil, you open your hand and let it go. With the negative experience that still makes you unhappy, makes you feel less than, unworthy, like you can't do it, like you're nothing, you open your heart and let it go. You decide your emotions. You decide where you're going next. You decide if you're successful. You decide. Okay, I don't know if anybody got anything out of this, but all I know, it was on my heart to do it. You guys, I can't express to you enough how your success is in your hands. It's in your hands. And it is time to self-develop and get our minds right and get ready for January, February, March, April, and May, so that you guys can double and triple and quadruple your incomes and your ranks, because I believe in you and I know you can do it. But if you've been in this business 2, 3, 4, 5 years and you are not getting anywhere, we've got to figure out what's holding you back. And I just bet it's your mindset. You are not prospecting up. You're not going out on a limb. You're not stepping out of your comfort zone enough. You're doing what's comfortable. And comfortable is not going to get you to 12K. Comfortable is not going to get you to 40K, 80K, or 200K. Anyways, I love you guys. Happy Halloween. I believe in you. You got this. If you want to know what book I'm reading, it's called Believe It to Achieve It by Brian Tracy. Overcome your doubts, let go of the past, and unlock your full potential. Brian Tracy. He also wrote the book Eat the Frog, which is another amazing book. Anyways, Believe It to Achieve It. So good. So worth reading. I've read it like 10 times in the last 8 years. So good. But that's what I took most of my content out of tonight. So you guys get it. Get it. Happy Halloween. We'll see you guys next Thursday, same time, same place, same link. Get your heads right. And don't forget, all the seeds you plant for the next 2 months are the seeds that are going to sprout come January. And if you have no seeds planted, your business won't grow. Let's plant those seeds. Love you guys. Have a good one.